Hey there, Stampers. Welcome to a bonus Facebook Live this week because I got my paper pumpkin kit yesterday. I was expecting to get it last week and doing last Friday's Facebook Live with this kit, but it didn't come in on time, so I thought I got it late yesterday, so I thought this morning I'd pop in and do my monthly scrapbooking with this kit. Okay. So for those of you who, well, let me introduce myself first. My name is Sherry Roth. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Canada. And every month when I get my Paper Pumpkin subscription, which is a crafting subscription kit in the mail, I always jump on and do a Facebook Live and create a scrapbook layout on the fly, just to show you the versatility of this kit. So this month's kit is called Joy to the World. It's the October 2020 kit. And occasionally they come in these fun, exclusive boxes. So this one has a great background that says joy, love, peace in various languages. And then you open it up and it's got everything that you need to make 8 cards. And I'll show you. I made one of each of the cards so that I can show you. And here they've shown you what the words are in the different languages. So there's a little flyer and there's a peek at some of the cards. And then the back, it just goes into details on the kit. So every month you get an exclusive kit or an exclusive stamp set. Sorry, let me grab a piece of paper to put behind this so that you can see what the stamp set is. Gives you a better idea. So we've got a great Merry Christmas greeting. I love the combination of fonts. I love it when Stampin' Up! Combines a couple different fonts, and it's a good size. There's joy, there's sending, so you do sending joy to you and yours, to the world. There's a great wreath image, and then there's this holiday floral image, and wishing you a very happy Christmas filled with fun and laughter. So it's a great stamp set. I think it's one that I'll use quite a bit over the holiday season. And then you always get instructions. So on these instruction sheets on the back, it tells you what's included in the kit. It gives you the coordinating Stampin' Up! Colors and other products that coordinate. And it also gives you, it shows you what you can make or what it's intended to make. And then it gives you some alternate ideas. And then on the inside, there's very simple instructions on how it goes together. Good morning, Karen. Good morning, Marge. Good morning, Joy. And then the pieces in this kit, you get a sheet of these label dies. You get a couple sheets of this embossed white paper. You get some envelopes, and look at the inside of the envelope. It's the same as the box. So it's got that Joy, Peace, Love, tone on tone, cherry cobbler. So you better believe that I'm going to rip one of these apart and use that as pattern paper. And then we have some gold foil pieces. So there is a couple of these, actually I think there's 4 gold banners, which I'm going to take one off because I'll probably use one. And then there's peace, there is love, there's joy, and then there's those words in French and in German as well. And then look at these. Get a few sheets of these. I think I've used one of them I separated and the other one I used for my card samples. So you get this pre-printed wreath and then you get a couple of those floral images. They're so pretty. And you know what? This type of thing makes scrapbooking so easy because all of the work is done for you. That's why I love my paper pumpkin kits for scrapbooking. Okay, and then you get card bases. So there's 4 of 2 different designs. Well, they're the same designs, they just go different directions. So one is meant to be a horizontal card and one is meant to be a vertical card. And then you can see here, this is the one that I've popped out some pieces. I'm going to keep that out. Then you also get an ink pad or an ink spot. So this month it's Just Jade, which is one of the in colors, which is great. And this month we got some cherry cobbler twine. And then you also get a sheet of dimensionals and a sheet of mini glue dots if those are needed to create the projects. Okay, so really the only thing that you need to add to your kit is scissors, scissors to cut the twine, and some flat adhesive. And really that's it. The first month that you subscribe to Paper Pumpkin, you actually get a clear block. So you've got a clear block and all of the images always fit on that size block. Okay, so I'm going to use elements from that, but then, oh, here, let me share the cards with you. Okay, so it makes 4 each of these cards. So that's one of the designs here. We're a little crooked here. Isn't that pretty? And they're so simple. It's meant to be quick and easy, but what I love about it is just the flexibility that you can turn around and step it up and create alternates with it. And then there's the other. Oh, let me move it down. And then I've just stamped the greeting on the inside. All right, okay, so what I've pulled out to use, let me share with you. Okay, so the first thing I did is I looked in my handy little journal that I keep track of all the scrapbook pages that I need to make. And I found some holiday photos. These are photos of my brother and his family from 2008. So I always like to scrapbook, not necessarily all of the pictures that I get like this, but I definitely like to scrapbook the photos that are close family when I get cards like this. So those are the 2 photos that I'm going to use. I've kind of drawn out a rough sketch. This helps me, especially when I go live and I don't really have a plan. Sometimes I will just roughly draw out kind of what I'm thinking. And it may end up looking similar to this, it may not, but it's just a starting point, just so I don't draw a blank, especially when I'm scrapbooking on the fly. So I kind of drew that out, so we'll have the 2 photos there, maybe a strip of pattern paper down here, an accent cluster here and up here, and then my title going across there. And like I said, it might look like this, it might not, but it gives me a starting point. Okay? All right, and then I pulled out some pieces from the kit. So like I said, I am definitely going to use this patterned paper that's on the inside. So I'm going to rip open the envelope. I know some of you are probably cringing. It's a perfectly good envelope, Sherry. Why? But look at this beautiful patterned paper inside. So I want to use that. So that's why I'm going to tear it apart. Okay. So I've got these pieces, I'll set those aside. I've also got some of the little elements that I've punched out from the kit. So I've got 2 of those floral images, 1 of the wreath, the 2 little labels, and I've got the word love and amour. I got my twine. I pulled out some cherry cobbler washi tape, which is retired. It's just a cherry cobbler polka dot washi tape. I pulled out 1 of the card bases. I'm pretty sure all I'll need is just 1, but I can pull out another if I need another. I pulled out this stencil because I might do some stenciling today. I pulled out just some scraps of Just Jade and cherry cobbler and some white in case I want to stamp some images. So those are some of the colors that coordinate. The other colors that coordinate with this kit are Early Espresso, Crumb Cake, and Soft Seafoam. But I think this is kind of the color combination that I want to go with. So white, Just Jade, and cherry cobbler. And I'll throw in some crumb cake there as well. And then I've got my white card base because I would probably say 95% of the time when I scrapbook, I use a white card base or a white scrapbook base. I love the clean look of it. I love lots of white space, but I also like to have the flexibility to create a background on there if I want to. And then I've got a piece of, now this is some flocked, what is it called here? Plush Poinsettia specialty paper. And it is part of the Poinsettia Petals suite, I think it's what it's called, from the mini catalog. And it's like a piece of vellum, and one side of it has this flocking on it. Can you hear that? So it's so beautiful. So I thought this might be a strip going down the side, and it's really subtle, but I really want the focal point to be my photos and just have just a subtle something on the board, down the border, okay, or down the side. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, and I thought this would be perfect for it. Okay, so let's go ahead, let's trim this down. we're gonna go ahead and get started here. Okay, so maybe 3 inches, and that's gonna go all the way down. So just like that. And then I'm thinking a strip of the Just Jade, and all of these pieces are all from my scrap bin, apart from this. This was from the paper pack. So I know this isn't 12 inches, but that's okay. You'll see what I do with that. I always go to my scraps first before I pull out a full sheet of 8.5 by 11 or 12 by 12. Okay, so while I've got my paper trimmer out, let's cut this. So this first cut may not be super straight, but we'll get it. Okay, so I'm just cutting off the white bits, so that will give me kind of an idea of how much I have to work with. Okay, so that gives me an idea of what I have. I will definitely need that again. Let's get that out of the way. Okay. Oh, let's bring back my paper trimmer so I can cut my photo. I prefer to cut my photos with a guillotine trimmer. So I like this little mini one because it's perfect for this. And I think I might keep the little crumb cake border around the edges. I find that the guillotine trimmer is just a sharper cut, and it's crisp when you cut it. So it's perfect for photos. Yeah, that's good with the crumb cake border, and then that's going to go kind of like that. All right, now do I want to mat this photo? Actually, you know what, let's work on our background first. Okay, so my photos are going to go you know what, I was watching a video yesterday, a video that I had recorded, an upcoming video, and I needed to do some editing on it because it's a scrapbooking video and it's always a little bit long. So I was watching, and I say the word "so" a lot. I really need to work on that. So see, and I couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh my gosh. I tell my team all the time, don't ever watch your videos back because you'll never do them again. And you're always so critical of yourself, right? Yeah, it drove me crazy how many times I said the word "so." Okay, let me see here. Okay, I don't know that that's the right color to back that. I do feel like I need to make this a little bit bigger, so a little bit more of a focal point. This would work this way, but the words are going this way. But I could get away with this. That little bit of a fold you wouldn't notice. I think I might do that. So I'm going to go ahead and, where is my adhesive? Here it is. Good morning, Shirley. Good morning, Lorraine. Good morning, Anna. Okay, so I'm going to do about, well, a little bit more than 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. And you'll see that there is going to be a little bit of white there. But if I pull in that little sketch that I did, you can see that there's going to be an embellishment cluster up there or something up there. So that will likely cover over that little bit of white. So I'm not concerned with that. Okay, well, that's not completely straight, but that's okay, or completely even. Okay. All right, white. So that makes it a little bit more substantial. This one I want to do the same. I'm going to mat this in white first. Oh, I should jot this information down so that I have it for when I do my journaling. Okay. That way I don't have to try to remember what year it was or how old the kids were. So I'm going to do just a little bit of white, and then I think I'll do a crumb cake border around this one. I'm going to add it, and I'm going to do this one, not the patterned paper. And again, make that just a little bit of a bigger border. And you can see that I don't always measure. Things don't have to be perfect. Really, nobody's going to notice it in the whole when the page is all done and it's in your album. People are going to flip through and look at your photos and your journaling. They're not going to look at how straight things were or how even your borders were. Nobody is going to be that critical. Okay, I'm still crooked, aren't I? It's kind of. Let's see if that's better. Okay, so now do I want to, okay, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that packaging technique that I love to do so much. And I think I'm going to do it, I think I'm going to do it in the light green. I'm not sure how much it's going to show up, but we're going to give it a shot. Grab my spritzer. Okay, so for this, for those of you who have seen me, who watch my scrapbook videos, you've seen me do this before because I do it often. This is as mixed media-ish as I get. I love the look of mixed media, but I don't know, I find it very intimidating. So I just need to just force myself to do it, to try it, because I know, I mean, it's not meant to be perfect, and it's really, it doesn't matter what you do, it would look good. Okay, so I've misted that with water. I'm going to flip it over and just flick. That gets some of that excess water off and also adds some splatters. And then I'm going to take it, actually it seems to want to bend better this way. And I'm just going to smush it. Okay, so let's see, bring back my photos and just, okay, so that's just a little bit, just want to spread it out a little bit more. Okay, and then you can just give that plastic a wipe with a baby wipe, or you know, just rinse it and then dry it off. And then this goes back in my drawer. This is just one of our 6x8 cello bags. You can use some packaging that you got from like a package of rhinestones. Like it just needs to be a plastic piece. Okay, so I'm going to give that just a couple minutes to dry. Let's work on this bit here. Now I'm going to use very little adhesive because this is vellum. So I'm just going to put some tiny strips of adhesive on there and line this up with the edge. And then it's not super noticeable. This is going to layer over top, so this will hold it into place as well. And I'm only going to do this part way down. So this is an 11-inch piece. You could do a 12-inch strip so that it's all the way down, but because I want to use my scraps, I am actually just going to do it about that far down. So I don't know, that might be maybe 9 inches-ish. And then whatever I decide my embellishment cluster, that is going to cover the bottom. So it will all work itself out. It will look like it was intentional, and it is intentional for me to not go all the way down. Okay, so let's see, should I do, yeah, no, I'm not going to attach that just yet because I want to figure out exactly where my photos are going to go so I know how far down I want them. So now, this should be good enough. I've got this stencil, which I didn't write down the name of it. I'm pretty sure it's still current. I hope it's still current. It's one of our decorative masks. I can't remember if we still carry this one or not. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some Just Jade, and I'm going to use this little makeup brush. You can also use a sponge. You can use a finger dauber. You can use whatever. But I'm just going to give this a rub and kind of add just a little bit of a pattern. I'm going to make sure that I don't go close to the edge because I don't want that sharp look. I just want it to look so it's kind of random and just in spots. In some spots it might be darker, some spots it'll be lighter. Let's do a little bit up here. I'm not overthinking it, I'm just doing it. Okay, so let's see. That just gives us a little bit of that jade. It pulls in some of that jade color. Okay, so we need a little bit more up here. Maybe a little bit up here. Okay. And then the other thing I want to do, let's put that over there, is I want to add some of these some splatters in this dark color. So I'm going to open my Just Jade ink. I'm going to grab the Just Jade refill. I think I've got a Just Jade refill. And an aqua painter or water brush or whatever it's called now. Water painter, I think is what they're called now. And I'm just going to drop, actually no, let's not do it this way. Okay, let me show you a way that you can do it where you don't have the ink refills, because I know many of you don't necessarily have the ink refills, or if you don't have the ink refill for the color that you want to use. So what you can do is use a block and just dip it in your ink so that you have a little bit of color on the corner. And then we're going to move this out of the way. I'm going to grab a couple scrap pieces of paper here so that I don't make a mess. Okay, so I'm protecting my surface. I'm going to move my iPad out of the way so I don't get splatters on it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my water brush. I'm going to make sure that there's no color. There is a little bit of color, but it's okay because it's the same shade. And I'm going to squeeze a drop of water out. Okay, and then I'm going to mix this. And then I'm going to splatter. That's good. Okay, so let me bring this back. So that is an easy way to splatter if you don't have ink refills. And then what you can do is, I don't have a tissue here, so I'm just going to smear it on my paper. And then I'll move my paper out of the way. I'll set that aside so I can clean it afterwards. So, and that gives you a nice misting. It's a little bit more subtle when you do it that way than when you use the ink refill, because the ink refill is a little bit more concentrated. So you can get a darker, more crisp color. But let me bring this up closer so that you guys can see. So you can see that it still looks like Just Jade. Okay. So these are going to go like this. Thanks, Kim. Yeah, so that just gives, you know, without using layers of paper, that just gives it a bit of a background, because sometimes a white background, especially because this is so light, it can be a little bit boring. So that just gives it a bit more texture and dimension and just a touch of color. I do want this layout to be a little bit more on the subtle side. I kind of want it to be soft and a little bit more elegant, just because the photos, like especially Abby, she's just so cute with that little dress. So I want it to have a little bit more softer, elegant look, so that those soft muted colors and that background just adds just the right touch. Okay, so now if I bring back that sketch that I had, here I've got some little strips of either patterned paper, it could be washi tape, it could be ribbon, kind of flagged and underneath the photos. So I was thinking this might be good if I trim this down and add those. So let's trim this. That will also bring in that touch of gold. So let's start with maybe 1.5 inches. And I'll grab my banner punch. Slide that in. And I'm going to punch both ends. And these, I will not get rid of these yet, because I may still use these. I might use it up there. I could use it down here. I'm not sure. Those still might come into play at some point. So this is obviously not long enough to stick above and below. So I'm just going to, this is my cheater method, and this comes in really handy when you're scrapbooking with paper pumpkin kits, because nothing is 12 by 12 in a paper pumpkin kit. So maybe like that. And I could add maybe a touch of that green in there. So let's trim this. This is just a little bit wider than 1 inch. Let's trim it down here. You know how excited I get when I hear things like that, Lorraine? I love that. Lorraine said that she thinks she's going to take up scrapbooking now. Scrapbooking is my passion. I tell you, my business would be solely scrapbooking if I had the clients for it. I love, love, love to scrapbook. So that is so exciting. I'm so happy. Okay, so that brings in that little touch of color. From here, now we need a little bit more red. So my initial thought was to use this, but because I used the backing on there, that as a backing, that might be too much, but let's give it a shot. We'll see. It's just patterned paper. Okay, so, and I do want to stagger the sizes. I don't want them all to be the same widths. So this one I'm going to cut down to maybe 3/4 of an inch. And we can cut off this bit where that fold is. Okay, so this, because it's narrower, so this does cut 3 different sizes. It does 1 inch, 1.5 inches, and 2 inches. This is only 3/4 of an inch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over and try to make sure it's somewhat centered. Actually, I might not go all the way to the end for that. And also straight. I think that still works. Okay, I like that. All right, so see, there I go again, using the word so. I need to have something, some sort of trigger. Whenever I use that word, it needs to shock me or something. I think that's the only way that I'm going to stop using it. It just comes automatically. So I'm using my T-square to just line this up. Just want to get an idea. I think that should be good. So right about the 6.5 inch mark. This will make it look like it's one solid piece. And we'll do this one on here. That's just a touch. That might need to go up a little higher. So you haven't noticed, Karen, how much I say the word so? I bet nobody else has noticed. I mean, like I said, we're always so much more critical of ourselves than anybody else is. Okay, and last one. Just gotta make sure that we can see this one. I don't want it to be completely buried. Okay. And even if it's just a touch showing, I'm completely fine with that. It's just that little bit of red that it needs. I might actually do another strip over here as well. Okay. Now I might, just because that is quite a bit of dimension, I think I'm going to pop this up using dimensionals. So see, you can see that score line here, but once I flip it over and put it on the layout, nobody will ever notice that score line. Sometimes I think we are so critical and we worry about those little details when it's something that is so minor that nobody would ever notice. And I am completely guilty of that. I do that all the time. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so I find that sometimes these things hold me back, and I'm really trying to work on that so that I get more done. Okay, we'll put a little bit of regular, just flat adhesive on here. This is going to go right here. Make sure it's straight. I think so. All right. So now we can work on this bit here and our embellishments, which is really the fun part. Okay, so like I said, see, there I go again. I said at the beginning that I pulled out the embellishments from the paper pumpkin kit that I wanted to use. I love this flower image. I might not use the wreath. I might just stick with the flower. Or the wreath could be good, kind of just a partial coming out like that, or out the side maybe. So just using half of it. Or what, can you see it if you put it behind? Not really. It covers up a lot of it. I might just save that for something else. Okay. And then I've got, oh, you know, I could have used this gold. Huh. Oh well. All right, and I thought it would be kind of fun to use all 3 languages on here. So it's got love in all 3 languages, or in 3 languages, English, French, and German. I thought it might be fun to use all 3 of them and just repeat it. I'm not sure. It might take up too much space, but I'm going to give it a shot because otherwise I will never use this. I would never use the Amour, I might, but the German, I probably would never use it. So is that weird using all three languages? Using the same word over and over and over? I don't know. It does make for a big title. Okay, so let's finish this first. Let's attach some adhesive to this. And I want to go about there. So that should be good. Bring in my ruler, make sure it's nice and straight. Vive l'amour, right, Lorraine? That's right. Okay, I think that's straight. Okay, and I do want to bring in some gold in a few different places. So one thing I did not pull out was some little like enamel dots or sequins or something. So this is my little drawer that I keep all these in. So there's those, the gilded faceted gems. That's not quite the right color gold. Probably those might be the best bet. Just have a quick flip through and see if anything else jumps out at me. No. Okay, so we're gonna use those. And the other thing is I want to pull in some red over here. So I did pull out this washi tape. Let's just give this a shot and see what this looks like. I'm gonna flip this around. I love how this is turning out so far. I tell you, these flowers, I mean, you take those off and it doesn't look like much. You put those back on, what a difference. Holy cow. Okay, where's the end? Maybe on this side. What do you guys think? With the red washi tape or without? I think with. I think it does add. Let's see. One thing about washi tape is you can always peel it off if you decide you don't want it. Try to make this straight. Let's flip this over, trim this. Okay, I'm getting lots of widths. Okay, we'll go with it. I think that pop of red is just what it needs on that side. All right, so let's add these. Do I want it that way? No, it's got to go that way. Okay, couple dimensionals, and then a little bit of flat adhesive. There's a lot of white space up there, or empty space, so I can go in as far, kind of put my dimensional, move it out a little further, because then I can go quite far in and overlap that photo nicely. And then this guy will get some dimensionals. I love it. All right, so what do you guys think? Do I use just the two, Love and Amour? Or, because I don't know that everybody's going to know, because I didn't know that Liebe, I don't know if that's how you say it, was love in German. The only reason I knew that was from the little cheat sheet that comes in the Paper Pumpkin kit. So I don't know if that's if people are going to realize that that's what it is love, 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 or do I just leave it like that? I do like the look of the three of them. I'm just not sure that it's going to make sense to people when they're flipping through the album. What do you guys think? Just give it a minute for you guys to respond, because there's always a delay in your comments. While I'm waiting for that, let's add some bling. Okay, I've got a couple of these large ones left. And when I add my bling, I never fully commit. I'll position it where I think I want it to go, but I don't push anything down until I've decided that that's where it's going to go. That gives me the flexibility of moving it around. These are one of my favorite embellishments because there are 4 different sizes of the enamel dots. I find that gives me a little bit more flexibility. Sometimes I find the largest ones are just a bit too big for cards. They're great for scrapbook layouts, but for cards I find them sometimes they're just a little bit big. Okay, I like that. All three, all three, all three. Everybody's saying all three. Oh, and I did pronounce Liebe. Liebe. So you do pronounce that, the B at the end? The Okay. We're going to do all three. You know what? I'm going to use mini glue dots for this rather than this. That's going to be too messy. Paper piercing tool. Plus then I don't need to add as many. I could probably just add 3 on here and it will stick nicely. And you know what? I could somehow reference the love in all languages or something like that maybe in the journaling. I tend not to do a ton of journaling on these types of photos just because it's not, it's really just who and when. But I could reference that and that would clarify the title. So then the last thing that I need to do is just decide where I'm going to add that little bit of journaling. I love scripty words like this. And I tell you, this is much easier than stamping all of this. I never would have chosen a title, like I might have chosen the word love, but to stamp, if I had to stamp this, I probably just need 2 on this one. I probably would never have chosen to do this title. So this does make it nice and easy. Okay, and then I need our dot. Oh, this guy doesn't want to come out of here. Got my tweezers for this. So next month's kit, for those of you who are not yet subscribers, next month's kit includes everything that you need to make. I think it was 15 gift card holders. So I can't wait to see what those are. I love gift card holders, and I'm thinking if it's kind of like a pouch thing, that might be a good journaling pocket. So I can't wait to see next month's. All right, I think I'm done. I love how it turned out. I really like the Just Jade and Cherry Cobbler together. It's very pretty. And the nice subtle background. Love how it turned out. Let me bring it up a little closer so you guys can see the details. So you can see the packaging technique in the background, the splattering, the stenciling. Just creates a nice subtle background. And the darker, more bold colors that you use, the more obviously in your face it is, like the more, it's just darker and bolder. So you can use those same techniques on with more subtle colors and get a more subtle look. So there we go. All right, so I'm thinking my journaling, I'm kind of thinking maybe right here. And I'll probably not use a black pen. I might use like a crumb cake, just something a little bit more subtle. Either crumb cake or maybe even our Just Jade Stampin' Write marker. Just so it's not, I don't want the black to really pop. All right, so that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I can't wait to see what you guys make. If you guys make a scrapbook page with this, well, it doesn't matter. Even if you make an alternate with it, I would love to see it. I always love to see what you guys are creating, but especially if you're making a scrapbook layout, if you do something like that with this month's kit, I would love to see it. All right, so thanks so much for watching, guys. I will post a link with all of the supplies, additional supplies that I used. I will confirm that this is still an available stencil, and a link to sign up for Paper Pumpkin if you're not already a subscriber in the description above after this video posts. Okay, take care. Have a great week.